Well, hello everybody, and welcome to another episode of Bushcraft Dave. And I am out on a big walk, and I'm out today with Mrs. Bushcraft Dave. We're out doing walk number 29 from the Collins Ramblers Guide to the Peak District, the penultimate walk. I'm hoping to clock off the other walk in the next week or two, so it shall soon be time to celebrate having finished all of the walks from this book, and then being able to just pick out the ones that I want to do again. So yeah, it's really, really good. So this walk number 29, Bleaklow. It is going to be a pretty incredible walk. The weather at the minute is fairly fresh. It's forecasting some rain. Hopefully it's nothing like what we had last time where it was snow, things like that. But it's about a 10-mile hike, maybe about 9.5. I'm calling it 10. There's certain sections of this walk that's just us going off cross country, where there's no paths. So I'm fortunate that I've got my sat-nav to be able to help keep us on track. But what we should also be hopefully taking in today is there is the remains of a crashed plane out on the Peak District, and we'll tell you a bit more about that when we get to it. For now, I just need to concentrate because we're climbing up probably for about 3 miles and it's pretty vertical. So thank you for joining us, and I hope you enjoy coming along for the journey. Speak to you in a bit. Of me staying dry. More than can be said for this side. Onwards and upwards.
don't know exactly what I expected to see, but it definitely wasn't this. Just the sheer expanse of the wreckage and how far it had spread, and the fact that there really wasn't any clear plain left was a real shock. It was a very eerie place and strange to come and kind of pay our respects when really we weren't expecting to. I had thought it was a place that they'd parachuted out of and had lived to tell the tale, so it was quite a shock to find that the crew had all been lost. The only comfort being that they probably didn't know what happened. They came down from the cloud and it was over before they knew it, really. So yeah.
Enjoyed the walk?
Bits of it, yes, I have enjoyed that. It was amazing.
Oh, I'm going to go and have a look at it now. Alright then, thank you for watching today's video. Apologies that there's not been much footage on it, but the weather has been absolutely appalling. It's been crazy. I mean, the eagle-eyed among you will notice I'm not wearing the same clothes as last time. This is a different day that I'm recording this, because unfortunately we were so wet through, so cold, so miserable at the end of the walk that we just hopped into the car, hot-footed it, quick sneaky McDonald's on the way home, and then got warmed up because my phone died. My phone ran out of battery, so I had no facilities to record. The weather was so dreadful, I didn't really want to get my phone out and record anything anyway. So, reflections on walk number 28, Bleaklow. Did I enjoy it? No. Would I do it again? No. Would I want to go and see the remains of the B-29 aircraft again, the Super Fortress? Yes. And I highly recommend that you do. It was a really eerie experience going there. Me and Mrs. Bushcraft Dave will often talk for hours when we're doing these walks. It's pretty much non-stop talking, but it was really noticeable that when we got up to the top where the remains were, we just stopped talking. Neither of us spoke for 10 minutes. It was really an amazing time to reflect and to take in the scale of the damage and to think a little bit more about what it was like for them. Because it was a horrendous walk. Like, it was freezing cold, chucking it down with rain. We were wet through to the core. The walk itself was incredibly difficult and challenging. I think it was probably the most difficult walk that I've done so far, and we've only got one more left to do in the book. And part of what made it difficult was the length of it. You know, a 10-mile walk. I hadn't really walked for a while, so I wasn't necessarily walk fit, so that didn't help. It was one of the highest peaks that I've went to. There's only 4 peaks in the Peak District that are above 600 metres, and 2 of them were on that walk. So it was incredibly high. As soon as we got up to the top, probably by the time we got over 300 metres, really, it was just horrendous conditions. Some of the walk was off the beaten path. That was really difficult to navigate, and we were walking through marshes and our feet were wet through. Mrs. Bushcraft Dave ended up in a bog right up to her top of her thighs. She didn't enjoy that very much. So all in all, it was a pretty miserable walk. Would it be better to do it in the summer when it was warm? Maybe, but I can imagine being up at 600 metres, it's always going to be a little bit cold and windswept. But I think you probably could approach the walk up to the B-29 Super Fortress aircraft remains. I think you could approach that from a few different directions. So if you wanted to go and visit it, and I highly recommend that you do, maybe try and take a slightly more direct route up, go and visit it, and take a direct route down, probably somewhere with a pub at the end of it. The route we had, it was a horrendously long route. I think probably unnecessarily long route for us to get to the fortress and back, but it was challenging. Like, the truth is, we did it. We managed to do an incredibly tough walk, but there must be an easier way. But it was certainly interesting reflecting on it when I was up at the top, and I'd been moaning to myself, really, about how I wasn't enjoying myself. I hated the walk. I was cold. I just wanted to be at home. And then it put it massively into perspective, seeing the remains up there and thinking that I just need to get over myself, and actually the discomfort that I'm going through, nothing compared to people in the armed forces who are putting themselves through all sorts of discomfort and potential harm. So, yeah, an important one to reflect on, I think. But I wouldn't do it again. So on that slightly dour note, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed the walk and really enjoyed the footage. Sorry there wasn't lots there, but that's the weather as it is at the minute. As the weather gets better, hopefully we'll have a few more sunshiny shots. Sunshiny shots. It's all good. Thank you for joining me. Make sure you join me in the next one. See you later.